Would this work? Bria is right. We need an else statement. And so where would I add the else statement? Where does it go? Does it go here? After the second if, inside the second one. Yep, exactly. So if we add one more else statement inside the nested if condition, so that becomes else, then we print out 0. That means that if now this code will work, if I run this first, and now I give 56 or 42, let's go 42, I get a 0, right? Because this if condition covers a particular case of being an odd number, but it does not cover the case of the other cases where it is an even number, right? So this else part then covers the other cases for the even number. So always remember, when we are working with if and else statements, you although do not need an else part often, but it is always better to cover all your cases where it is needed. So in this particular situation, we did cover the case for the earlier part of that code. We did cover the case where n is an even number, n is an odd number, and a multiple of 7. However, it does not cover the case where n is a multiple of 7, but an even number. So this else now covers that particular criteria. Yes, it is too many, and this is not the proper way of writing this code, but you need to understand how an if statement works, right? So again, think of it like a fork in the road, right? So we have the first if condition that says you either execute this block of your code or you execute this block of your code. Those are the two routes, right? Internally, again, you have one more if condition, so that let's say that you the left hand side and the right hand side. So the left hand side again has two separated conditions, that is either take this route or take this route. So essentially there is a fork after the fork in the road, right? So this essentially looks something like, okay, sorry for my bad paint skills, but just deal with it. So essentially this would look something like we have one condition here, the other condition going here. So we are checking the condition at some point here that checks if n mod 7 is 0, right? So this checks n mod 7 equals 0. Now this is basically, if it is true, execute this part of your code. Otherwise, if this is false, execute this part of your code, right? And then once it is true, it again uses another if condition. So that basically makes it another condition that had n mod 2 equals 1, right? So this particular thing now checks if it is true, go along this route. But in our previous example there, we did not have the right hand side, but now we have a right hand side. So that also contains the condition for if it is not true. So now you can imagine that piece of code here is basically something visually similar to this particular structure here, where we first check if n is a multiple of 7. If true, we check if n is odd. If true, we print out 1. If n is not a multiple of 7, we print out 0. But in the previous example, we did not cover this particular case here. But now that we do, we can now print out 0 in this case as well. Does this make sense? Okay. Now, we can also, now we will talk about how we can merge these if conditions together into a single if condition, so without any nested if conditions. But before I do that, I want to ask you guys one other thing. So we know that the mod operator is essentially the result of dividing so essentially the result of, or the residue or the remainder after integer division. So when I say integer division, I mean that both of those numbers on the left hand side, on the right hand side, so 8, 4 or 7, 4 or whatever, have to be integer numbers. So what would happen if I performed 42.0 mod of 7? Would this work or would this not work? Bria says it won't work. Can you expand why? Because we are using, it's not an integer. Exactly. Always remember that the mod operator is the only special operator that does not work with double values or floating point values. Mod operator will only and only work with integer values, because in a sense, decimal division, so let's say 21.0 or 12.1. So let's say 12.1. So 121 mod of 11 is going to be a 0. 121 mod of 10 is going to be a 1, right? So 120 and then the remainder is 1. However, 12.1 mod of 10 does not mean anything, because now we are talking about decimal values, and decimal values do not have a remainder. We have to have an entire point value. So essentially, mod operators do not work with decimal values. Very good. Tyler, Micah, and James, you're right. And we. Okay. So now, now that we have this, now let's do one other thing. Let's do the case where it is essentially going to cover all of those cases in a merged condition. So we can merge this condition. So instead of having two internal loops, two internal conditions, we can then remove this and just say the exact thing that we need to check. So if n mod 7 equals 0 and n mod 2 equals 1. So for better visualization, I'll put brackets here. Now, this AND operator basically means those truth table AND operators, right? So we are basically merging these two together. And now we basically have this entire larger condition where this if condition is true only if n is a multiple of 7 and n is odd, right? Okay, so in this scenario, I can just have cout statement with a 1, and that basically prints out 1 if n is odd and a multiple of 7, and for all other cases where n is a multiple of 7 and it's even, or n is not a multiple of 7 and n is even, or n is odd and not a multiple of 7, and all possible other cases, it just prints out 0. It is only true when the number is both a multiple of 7 and an odd number, and an odd number, right? So if I run this now, I can give 42, it prints out a 0. I don't need an extra condition here. And if I give 21, it prints out a 1 and it works. Everyone agrees that this code is correct? Any cases where it won't work? I don't think so. Yes. Yes, as in it won't work in some cases, or you agree that this code is correct here? Okay. Yep. Okay. So now, if that is correct, let's come back. If the user doesn't input a number. Josh, that is a very interesting observation. So let's look into this thing. So cin statements, remember, is waiting on the user to give a number, right? So as long as the user does not give a number, the cin statement would wait. So if I don't give any number and let's say I keep on pressing enter, it is still waiting for a number, right? It has to be provided a number. So in this situation, I can give a number unless I give some input, it will wait on me to give some input. A new line is not considered as input. And then once I run this, it will give you a value. But Josh, you also got onto an interesting point here. What happens if instead of giving a number, I give A? A is a character. Will it crash or will it give an output? It gives a 0. Okay, so remember when we talked about how if we typed in int x equals to 8.2, it truncates the remainder part of 0.2 and just assigns x with the value of 8, right? And remember how we talked about how characters contain 1 byte of memory. Exactly. Characters contain 1 byte of memory, and if I say character C equals to A, that basically means that it is storing A in the form of 1 byte value. That 1 byte value, when we say int x equals to the character A, that 1 byte value, think about that 1 byte value. It is essentially 8 bits of values, right? It essentially converts that 8-bit values into an integer number, because that 8-bit value can also be used to represent integers as well, some number, right? So when we save it into x, it essentially uses that 8-bit value and then saves it into x. So in essence, we are converting A into its corresponding, as Tyler says, is correct, corresponding ASCII character value, and then checking if that number, resultant number, is a multiple of 7 and an odd number or not. In this case, we can say that A is not the number represented, the corresponding number representation of A is not a multiple of 7, or it's not odd, basically. But that was a trick question, so we will cover character values later. But this is a thing to remember. We call this as implicit type conversion, right? Okay. So now that is done, now we understand this thing. Now I want to write this code, and I want you guys to write this code maybe in the chat window. Do the same thing, but do it without an if statement. And so, does someone want to try? Without any if conditions. Okay, James, come on. And while James is trying to writing this, does everyone understand what I'm saying? I want to do the same thing where I want to print out 1 if it's a multiple or not, and then essentially do the same thing but without any if conditions. Perfect. So all of you who said yes, also try to write out your own answers, and let's see if it matches with James's answer.